everybody and welcome to the channel, bobsales this times next year. There are many men and women in the world who hunt vampires, but few strike as much fear into the blood-sucking hearts as they do the silver stakes. Blade is more than just a slayer of the undead, but he's a boogeyman's boogeyman. Of course, while we're talking about this is because the veve app are dropping Blade. This Marvel digital collectible statue drops Saturday the 24th of February, 8 AM PT, which of course is 4 PM UK time. So Blade is one of my favourite characters in both comics and film history. So let's get a deep dive into this one. So let's start with the origin story and the comics themselves. Eric Cross Brooks, aka Blade, is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, created by writer Marv Wolfman and penciler Gene Colan. His first appearance was actually in the comic book The Tomb of Dracula, issue 10. This was in July 1973, and as a supporting character, but later went on to have his own storyline. And yes, this is the one that's just dropped on the veve app this week. Of course, in this version, Blade had a green jacket, a pair of yellow glasses, and some stakes around his chest. So Blade was actually born in UK London in 1929. His mother, Tara Brooks, was actually a prostitute who was attacked and bitten by a vampire named Deacon Frost. The same kind of storyline as in the movie. Of course, this was why she was pregnant with Eric at the time. As a result, Eric was actually born with vampire traits, but without being fully turned into a vampire. He could even sense non-humans and had a longer lifespan than others, but he didn't even have fangs yet. Later, Blade is actually bitten by Morpheus, and this special blend of DNA gave Blade even more power. Now Blade had accelerated healing, enhanced strength, speed, agility, and even fangs. It does not suffer from the typical vampire weaknesses such as sunlight and garlic.
Fuck you.
This is essentially what makes the Daywalker. So after the brutal death of his mother at the hands of Deacon Frost, Eric swore vengeance against all vampires. He dedicated his life to becoming a skilled vampire hunter, trained his body and mind to combat the undead. And this is actually where Eric become Blade. Blade actually arms himself with a bunch of different weapons specifically designed to dispatch vampires, including silver stakes, swords, a firearm loaded with garlic-filled bullets, even silver bullets, even light bullets at one point. Blade's journey as a vampire hunter leads him to encounter various different allies and enemies. This included Dracula himself. Throughout his adventures, Blade becomes a formidable and respected figure within the Marvel universe, known for his relentless pursuit of justice and unwavering determination to rid the world of vampires and other supernatural threats. Over the years, Blade has been featured in numerous comic book series, crossover events, and adaptations in other media, cementing his status as one of Marvel's most iconic and enduring characters. So one of the reasons Blade is so popular is of course down to the Wesley Snipes movies. So you can't talk Blade without talking Wesley Snipes' portrayal of Blade. Now Wesley Snipes done a good job with this character. He's done such a good job. I kind of feel the same way as I do about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. There will only be one actor to ever be Wolverine to me. This also goes for Blade. I will never be watching another Blade series or anything like that without Wesley Snipes. So before the MCU and the multiverses, there's very few superhero movies at this point. Blade, I would say, is one of the first. The success of the first Blade film in 1998 is often credited with helping pave the way for the explosion of superhero movies in the early 2000s. This included X-Men and the Spider-Man franchises, even Daredevil. This film was directed by Stephen Norrington and written by David Gower. Now at this time this was written, there wasn't really a serious adaptation or a darker character in a film. This was actually a huge risk. There was Batman and Superman, and no darker superheroes with film and gore. So the film and the storyline actually stuck quite close to the original comic book version. Blade was released in August of 1998. This was produced for the cost of $45 million, and the film generated over $131 million. Even in the 1990s, Wesley Snipes was actually a huge star. Being Blade made him a worldwide star. In this film, they were very dark, they were bloody, they had amazing fight scenes and realistic ones. Even the little snippets of humour were in the right places.
Freeze! Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
I can actually remember watching this for the first time, turning this on and watching the nightclub fight scene. I was actually in awe. Now in this film, the weaponry was really well thought out, from the look of the leather coat with the shiny clips to the sharp hairstyle Blade actually has, or the boomerang knife. Even the sword has a trap for anyone that dares to pick it up that's not Blade. Everything was so well thought out. In the first film, Blade mainly deals with vampires and some familiars. These are essentially humans who work for vampires, some avoiding to be eaten by the vampires and some that want to be vampires.
Familiars.
Now, Blade went on to be a franchise, and the second film was released in March 2022. Guillermo del Toro was the director for this film, infusing his signature style of dark fantasy and horror in this film. The time this was released was actually a bad year for movie sequels, but Blade 2 actually stopped that tradition. Second film was either on par with the first or even better than the first. So the story's a bit different in this one. There is a new breed of vampires, the Reapers. They have also developed stronger abilities and need to feed more frequent. Even the vampires and Blade are at war. The vampires ask a truce so they can actually take down the new threat, as they eat both vampires and humans. Blade ends up teaming up with a team of vampires that essentially train to kill him. They essentially go on the hunt from there. Seeing Blade with a new team adds new depth to the story and leads to showing Blade's funny side and personality a bit more. In this film, the Reapers were half CGI, half models to ensure realism. Also, the outfits, including Blade's, were glammed up a little bit, with Blade now having a red inline to his coat. The overall look was just sharper. Now, there was a third film. Now, this was probably the worst out of the bunch, but still a good film. This is essentially where they try bringing Dracula back. In this one, again, Blade has a new team, family of his good friend and weapon maker, Whistler. So a couple of fun facts for you. Did you know that although Blade's always in black, he has at least 15 different shades of black at all times? In Blade Trinity, there was actually some controversy due to the behind-the-scenes conflict, notably between Wesley Snipes and the director, David S. Gower. Snipes allegedly refused to engage with the director and frequently stayed in his trailer the whole filming. He also didn't like the idea that the movie wasn't focused on Blade so much, but the whole new crew. Did you also know Wesley Snipes wanted to make the Black Panther movie before Blade? Now, the only reason this didn't happen, it was actually decided that Blade would be better picked as the comics didn't really have a detailed story, which meant they could do more with the character. Right at the start of Blade 1, we actually see the crispy vampire. He actually attacked someone in the hospital. Did you know the actor actually dislocated his jaw during this scene? Unfortunately, even though this was shot in a hospital, there was actually no medical help.
Came back to finish you off.
Get out of my way, you freak!
Because it was an abandoned one. Also, did you know in this scene, Blade actually cut his hand on the sword? So that's been the story. Let's get to the drop. Blade is dropping to the veve app. This must-have digital collectible features Blade in premium digital format. There will only be one version of this collectible. List price is 50 gems or $50. This will be mint in 999 editions. This is a secret rare. This is a first appearance. First available public mint for sale is going to be 41. Of course, 5,000 points minimum MCP bid if you want to try and secure your place. Of course, a total of 90 editions will be held by veve and the licensed source. Only a 40% of reservations will be allocated to the waitlist for MCP bidding. Now, I like the collectibles, but I'm not in love. There is no animation, there's a bit of smoke, there's no sound, has that cell shading style again. I wanted a PS5 style textured animation Wesley Snipes collectible. That's what I wanted. I think if this was a Wesley Snipes one, this would have done a hell lot better than this one's going to do. But with all that being said, Blade is one of my favourite characters, one of my favourite films, so I am probably going to go for this drop. I do think this will probably sell out with the additions. So as always, let me know what you think. Are you going to buy this or do you want to wait for Wesley Snipes? So as always, I've been your host, Bob Sales. This time next year, we will be millionaires. Peace!
I was born ready, motherfucker.
I was supposed to fight Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was real. Like, that was lawyers in negotiation. I was training twice a day for 6 months.
Straight. Straight line. Always straight. Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?